Joe, just give you a heads. Let me see here. All right, we got it. It should have power now.
That was too much chaos.
Yeah, that was. Yeah, I'm so busy. I wasn't even looking.
Yeah, that was a lot going on. wasn't it? Hey, Joe, I don't know. Is this good?
Is it comfortable for you, or do you need me to adjust it?
If you could come adjust it, just make
Okay.
it go up a little bit.
Sure.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you. I appreciate that. Perfect.
Joe,
Joe, come back in here, Joe.
where I had my glasses over here.
Your
I'm a
glasses are on
creature
the
of
table.
habit.
Your glasses were,
Oh,
were on the
okay.
table.
I was like looking down, going, "Huh? Where?" Thanks, dude.
You guys got me running around on a Monday.
Did you
Yeah, we
change the
do.
password to this now too?
I did not.
It's not the eagle thing isn't working.
That's the way it should. That's the one it should be.
All I know is this was off when I came in. What did
Okay.
you guys
I'll-
do
I'll-
when I was gone?
Nothing.
I used that while you were gone, and I
Oh, yeah.
brought my computer from home and let Megan use it,
But yeah, nothing should
but
have
I didn't
changed.
touch anything.
All right, I'm starting over. Oh, there it is.
Sweet.
Must have been user error.
Must have been.
Okay, let's see here. Get all this stuff trying to catch up. Hey guys, welcome to the show before the show. Getting ready to get started. You guys rocked it, Lizzie. You and Megan.
Well, we
On
turned the
Thursday.
whole Friday show into the Trump show.
I loved it.
Yes,
As it should have been.
yeah. Wasn't your regular free for all Friday, but we had to do it. She and I were fired up. So was Joe. Joe was really fired up. The three of us were fired up about it. But see, we're not afraid because it exposes them. It exposes them. And he will, whether he goes to jail, whether it's overturned over appeal, all of that, in the end, these losers are going to lose.
Oh, I agree. One way or the other.
That's right, one way or the other. Because I'm sure that they're not done with Trump. I mean, I could see that they try to put him in jail. And even over the weekend, he was saying that that's fine. Like he wasn't even panicked about it. That he's willing to stand that Trump train between us and that evil.
Guys, welcome into the show before the show. Appreciate everybody getting in here right now.
Don't forget to share the show on this Monday, please, everybody.
Yeah, like, subscribe, share the show as always. We're getting things going here. Paul says that was a great show Friday that you guys had. Of course it was.
Thank you. You know, I should have brought it back in, Vic. You would have been really jealous of my purse. I have a Trump purse. And I brought that in too.
I think I saw that. Maybe, I think.
You probably, well, if you, yeah, it was at the end of the show.
I think I did. Trying to catch up on everything here. All right, here we go, go. Yeah, I'll talk about my trip to Myrtle. I love South Carolina. That is Trump country.
Yeah, don't you love
Myrtle
it?
Beach, woo, all that airs. The girls rocked it. Let's see. My sophomore, or he just finished his sophomore. He got his first college scholarship offer over the weekend.
Really?
Yes, I was very.
Oh my
happy for
gosh!
him.
Congratulations! That is very exciting.
So a lot more
love
people
that.
following him. Lindenwood, I get frustrated with all their liberalism. It's
Yeah.
like it should be Liberalwood.
Yes, it should be. It should be.
They through our good friend Matt Bierman, who owns Elite Football in the Chesterfield
Yeah.
Valley. He does his show here with JP Rock. They do it every Tuesday. Massive show. Well, Elite comes out of Lindenwood. They had 2,000. It's become one of the one or two largest combine training sessions where kids go from cross country or trying to get looks for football. 2,000 kids in 2 days.
Oh wow, wow,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
So, Division I school, Miami of Ohio, offered him on Saturday, and a lot more schools are talking.
Oh,
So he was
congratulations.
a lot of hard work there. He's grateful. That's for football, not lacrosse.
Good for him. Does he like football better than lacrosse, or does he like them
He
about the
does.
same? He
Yeah,
does.
He does. Just it's always been, but he's fortunate from lacrosse too, though. So
Yeah, that's great.
Um,
You know, usually kids have one focal sport. I know my daughter, she real active in two, likes one just a little bit better than the other.
all right, we got. Okay, I'm trying to catch up on all this.
There was so much
I'm like,
that dropped since you've been gone, both Thursday and Friday, and then the Trump stuff. I mean, you could talk for that for days, and we took a whole show about that. But then everything else that came out, this was quite a weekend of news.
I'll get into this in just a little bit. I was just shocked that people were surprised when I told everybody what was going to happen.
It happened exactly the way you said it was going
I
to.
mean, it's
The only thing that I did not contemplate, but it's so great, is that in 24 hours, he got, 52.8 million. And within 48 hours, 200 million for his campaign? That I didn't contemplate. And that's when I corrected my statement, because I didn't think people were galvanized enough still on the Trump side. Now I think they finally poked the bear. Finally.
Yeah, I still feel that if you like Trump, you're okay. If you didn't like Trump, you're okay. I mean, I don't
know. I met a lot of people.
I think people who kind of like Trump, I don't think that there was people who hated Trump that all of a sudden go, I'm his fan.
I don't either. Yeah, no. I think they're just happy about it. But I see a lot of people that were ambivalent about it. They're the ones now going, I might need to wake up and see what's going on here.
Tanya says, congratulations. I guess to myself, my daughter Melanie got a great job after graduating Mizzou. I'm a proud mother. Congrats to you.
Congrats. Yeah, and then Susan's saying one wealthy widow donated like $1 million to Donald Trump. Good for her.
Well,
I
she
would
could
do
donate
that
to
too.
cancel this. We talk about Trump a lot.
That's right. We
if
need to
not
get
more.
her name. We need to call her.
Yeah, we do need to find out. who she is.
Hello?
Yeah, as we've noticed, there's a lot of people who support what we do and things of our nature. It's a matter of getting to them.
Mm-hmm.
That's for sure. Appreciate everybody jumping in. Like, subscribe, share the show. This is the show before the show. Getting ready to get started here. Let me see what we got there. Oh, that's another interesting story.
There's so much.
Did you see what the U.S. Appeals Court ruled? Did you see that one I sent to you about Oregon?
Yes. I don't know as much about that, though. I saw what you sent to me, but that'll be good. You'll have to educate me on that one.
Yeah, it was shocking. I'm still catching up. We appreciate everybody getting in here. Hey guys, like, subscribe, share the show, let people know what we got going on here. Monday's always big show, so much going on, that's for sure. Miriam Adelson Vegas Sands.
That's a lot of names. That's a lot of names. That's the lady that donated the $1 million. Good for you, Marion. Miriam or Marianne? Good for her.
Love to hear it. There is hope. All right, Joe, let's go ahead and start the show, my friend. Hey guys, welcome into cancelthisshow.com. Vic Faust, Lizzie Sparks, Pro Joe back in the house. We're still playing around with the look. You know that. We got all kinds of looks here now as we have kind of reinvented the studio. The ladies had their different look on Friday and I loved it. Did you have that on Thursday too?
No, Thursday we kind of did. We did kind of have, we did. We had it on Thursday.
Yeah, and special thanks to Megan Marie Moret, who was in for me on Thursday and Friday when I was out. You guys had a great Trump show on Friday. And you know what we do here at Cancel This? It's all about facts over feelings. We'll deal with the facts first and we deal with the feelings. Hope everybody had a terrific weekend. Lots of news in the headlines. So many things happening today. I am convinced that courts play cases around each other so that there's always something to push out in the media.
Yes.
Always something to keep our head here or there. So we're not looking everywhere. We're going to get into all the Trump stuff. Big weekend for Trump. Massive weekend for Donald Trump. We're going to get into all of that as well. We're going to get into a big story that's coming out, and it's going to be big this week regarding Anthony Fauci. Once again, will anything come out of it? Probably not. If Donald Trump is president, maybe. I like the chances of him being investigated. But the Gateway Pundit put out a report regarding Fauci's upcoming testimony. Now, he testified months and months and months ago. It'll just make your blood boil about what he has admitted to. Remember that whole 6-foot distancing? Yeah, it was all a sham. And he admits it. We're going to get into everything with that. Trump's trial gets done. And then what starts up? Hunter Biden. Hunter Biden goes to trial today.
That's right.
You can't be on drugs and buy a gun. And you can't lie about being on drugs and buying a gun. So anyway, that comes in now. And it picks up the first day after Donald Trump's case.
What a coincidence. Yeah.
Like I said, you can't make this stuff up.
No.
It is there. It's like, we always try to do these things so that you know what's going on. And that's what we do 24/7. We're on our phones all the time. We're on our laptops 24/7 as well. If there isn't a thing such as hardcore racism in the WNBA. I don't know what is. We've already showed you the examples of the NBA and the racism that exists there. What is happening to Caitlin Clark is absolutely insane. If you switch the colors, if Caitlin Clark was a black woman in an all white or dominantly white black league, or excuse me, a white league, yeah, there'd be problems. Just wait till you see the video if you haven't yet. And the WNBA hasn't done anything yet. You don't want to bite the hand that feeds you, because what is happening is terrible. But thank God, thank God, thank God, thank God, the WNBA today has finally come out, and they're going to try to protect Caitlin Clark a little bit. Some updated news this morning. We're going to get into that as well. And if you can't afford an attorney, or if you don't have one, you can go free.
Oh, that's
you can
nice
go
to
free.
know.
There is a state where the U.S. Court of Appeals has said, yeah, we agree with that. So anyway, that's what's going on from that standpoint. Lots going on. Highlights from the weekend. Just a lot of Trump stuff with you.
Yeah.
Sports stuff.
Not really that much sports stuff, mainly Trump stuff and that sort of thing. Yeah.
Well, I had my first mini vacation thanks to my girlfriend, Megan. You know, it had been 24 years since my honeymoon that I'd actually gone anywhere on a vacation.
Yeah.
Without my kids or anything.
Wow.
24 years.
Yeah.
Okay. 2000, the year 2000,
the year
January
2000.
January 15th, 2000.
Wow. Okay.
So Megan and her family did not disappoint.
Aww.
It was absolutely her mom and dad, but her mom and dad. Myrtle Beach, Surfside.
Oh, that's
did
a great
not
picture.
Disappoint. So obviously, you know me. There's Megan, and then her wonderful dad Clayton, and her wonderful, beautiful, and her beautiful mom, her Patricia, but I just call her Mom or Sweet Lady.
Oh, that's so cute. What a good picture.
So
how fun.
The one thing about that is there's a ton of Trump fans. They love Trump. They can't believe what's going on. They were New Yorkers.
Really?
Yes,
okay.
they were New Yorkers who went to South Carolina to retire.
Good for them.
And they see all the craziness going on in New York, and it drives them crazy. And South Carolina, and it's interesting because I got in this conversation. I thought you might find this interesting. No, we did not promote. I did not propose.
That's a good question though, Glenn. People were asking that last week.
Were they really, since I was meeting the family?
Yeah. But I said, no, it's just, as I said, I did say when they were asking that it does bring it to a different level. It doesn't mean that you're proposing, but once you meet the parents, it levels up a bit.
Well, that would be nice.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me? Like I could do better than Megan?
You can't do better than Megan. Sorry.
Pretty much can't. And you couldn't do better than in-laws.
Yeah, that's great.
Than them. So what I did love is listening to them talk and what they have. And there's Trump flags. There's more Trump flags in South Carolina and in Surfside where they live in Myrtle Beach than there is here in the St. Louis area and St. Charles area.
I love it.
So we got to pick it up, St. Louis. I'm not kidding.
Do.
With St. Louis County, it's freaking
St. Louis County.
But even St. Charles, there are Trump. I mean, I saw Trump flags everywhere, Lizzie.
Good.
I'm like, you'd be blown out of your mind.
I would be in heaven.
I mean, now it wasn't Meet the Fockers, but it was funny because her dad brought up Meet the Focker, or it was actually her mom said that she was in an office and talking to the ladies. And they were all laughing about the episode of Meet the Fockers.
Well, that is pretty funny. And obviously, if they like Trump, they're not Fockers.
No. I did have a sweet tea.
You did?
Yeah, I did have a sweet tea. So that was
nice.
That was fun as well. Todd says Missouri is too scared to even fly the American flag, mainly St. Louis County.
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah, Sam Page scared the shit out of those people. They really believe the morgue that you're going to go there when you die of the sea.
Yeah. So the other thing is, in that area, people just aren't afraid. And this is the other thing I was getting to. They used to her family used to like Nikki Haley.
I can
being in South Carolina and voted for Nikki Haley.
Sure.
And said she was super popular, but she's not anymore.
Yeah, makes sense.
Because of where she went and what she did.
Yeah.
And now trying to come back. But it is an interesting state because you have Nikki Haley, you have Tim Scott, who's still a vice presidential candidate who could be picked, who has been out and about talking and doing some things from that standpoint. But it was good just to be there and enjoy it. But I can tell you this much, guys. At some point in time, And we love you too, Patricia. Her mom, and I mean, I introduced our show to them.
Oh,
So
she's on
mom,
the chat line.
so mom got in, Patricia, and they love to talk politics. And I'm looking around that entire area. There are so many Trump fans. Somehow we need to market to these areas, these communities all around the country.
Yeah, we do.
Somehow, some way, we would blow up in those areas.
Yeah.
We would absolutely blow up. And it's just good to have those conversations. And when I walk in, what does her dad have on? He has on Newsmax.
Oh, good for him. What smart in-laws.
And they knew about OAN.
Well, maybe.
And how
whatever.
OAN used to be on.
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is some good stuff.
I love it. I love it. You know what kind of house it is. If you go in and there's Newsmax or OAN. Fox, it could still go either way. You just don't know. But good for them.
But all in all, incredible trip. Loved it. Beautiful area. If you haven't been to that part of the country, it is absolutely gorgeous. I would recommend South Carolina, although her parents may not, because that place is booming.
Yeah.
It's weird when you see places that are booming. I guess St. Charles was for a long time. I don't know if it still is or not. St. Louis County isn't for a lot of our listeners, depending upon where you live. But
we're booming in St. Charles.
But allegedly, a lot of people from Florida, because Patricia is a real estate agent as well.
Okay.
And she says a lot of people from Florida, because we talk about Florida being the end all, and so many people living there.
Right.
It's hard to afford the taxes now.
Yeah.
So that's why there's there's a lot of homes that people can't buy houses there.
Right.
So where are they going? They're going up in the north.
Makes
They're
sense.
going up.
Yeah.
But then I started looking at that place. I'm like, okay, you've got Myrtle Beach, you've got Hilton Head, you've got Charleston.
Love
Savannah,
Charleston,
Georgia is
too.
not too far away. And I'm like, oh. And yes, as Glenn says, the golf capital of the world.
Yeah,
Lots of golf.
What a great place.
And the weather is terrific as well. So maybe we'll go do a show live there.
Yeah.
We'll do a show live from
Let's
a
do
boat
it.
somewhere.
I like it.
That's what I would say right there.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Anyway, that's the personal side from the weekend. Loved it. Thank you, Arnitz, for letting me come in. Oh, and she has a brand new little dog.
Oh, and you
Pretty
didn't
little
take a
dog.
picture of the dog?
I don't have one of Kinsey. I don't have
Oh,
one.
Kinsey the
I don't
dog.
have
What
one.
kind of dog?
Yorkie.
Oh, love it.
Beautiful Yorkie.
Yeah. I think we need to get a picture and put it up.
Yeah, we'll get one. I'm sure we'll send one of little Yorkie. The only thing, she needs a little Trump like handkerchief. Or a little
Yes.
thing around her
Yes.
neck.
Of course.
Trump, something of that nature. Guys, we appreciate you jumping in. Speaking of Trump, this is cancelthisshow.com. Vic Faust, Lizzie Sparks, Projo in the house. You know what we do Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. Central, all the time on our website, cancelthisshow.com, all of our library there. Please check out our partners. We appreciate the sponsors, which we'll get to a little bit later when it comes to everything that we do here. News headlines, politics, cancel culture education, interviews from all over the country, and of course, the Free for All Friday segments. Friday show a little bit different because of the Trump verdict that came down in regards to the sentencing that's going to be coming up as well. Okay, massive weekend for Donald Trump. How about this? Over $100 million in small donations.
I love it.
This is what Lizzie's talking about when it comes to people, everyday, ordinary people. Now, obviously, we were talking about one woman, Miriam Adelson, who gave $1 million to Donald Trump, who had never really given before. But Megan was telling me over 30% of the money that was coming in, when it was about 50 million, was first-time donors.
Yeah, first time. And those equate to voters. A lot of them were not Trump supporters before. They were just kind of ambivalent. And now they realize, I thought by now people's eyes would be open, but it didn't.
What do you mean be open?
Well, what I mean by is Trump was the better candidate, and that literally people were after us, the government, the whole world order, all of that. And so many things. I thought Obama would have woke their eyes up, the pandemic, our taxes, and I could just go on and on and on. But I think this is what finally poked the bear, because people are seeing if they can go after a former president that is so beloved by patriots, he's just standing in the way of them coming after you.
Well, we started to see this. I mean, when the trial started, and here's the other thing that I wanted to get to. I still see people that were shocked at what happened.
Yeah, and they were sad about it. And they were just, oh my gosh, this
was
terrible.
Planned from the get-go.
Yep, that's right.
When this happened, I don't want to say I told you so, but I told you what was going to happen. There was no way he was not going to be found guilty.
Correct.
There was no way this whole circus went down for him to be found not guilty. And if Judge Rashan had to dictate it, even if the jury wasn't corrupted, the judge was. He was going to make sure that every parameter was put in place to force the jury to say, well, under these parameters, we have to say, quote, guilty from where we are.
Right. There was no
So-
choice.
So this is where we are from this standpoint. But
Mhm.
now we have a situation where Donald Trump is now calling on the Supreme Court of the United States to get
Yes.
involved. He also said over the weekend that he'll go to jail.
Yeah,
Donald
did.
Trump said that he will go to jail.
Yeah. I think he thinks he's going to. When you look at it and he answers that question like that, I think he's resigned himself to do that. And that's what made people donate so much money. He doesn't have to do this. Literally, if he just backed out now, they'd probably let him go. But he is willing to do what no one else we've ever seen is willing to do. And so even the little guy is like, I've got $10 I'm going to give you. I've got 20, I've got 1,000. And so that, I think, made the difference more than anything else that has happened during all this craziness.
Well, he says he'll go to jail. He says he's not afraid to go to jail. And guess what? Alina Habas, his attorney, has already come out and said he will still run for president
Yes.
and win from jail
Yeah, he will.
if he absolutely has to.
Mhm.
Once again, who knows what's going to happen? One, he could get time. Two, he could get some sort of probation. But in a probation situation, as I was studying the whole list, that would mean, quote, it could mean house arrest
Correct.
to keep him off the campaign trail again.
Mhm.
And if that doesn't make your blood boil, the only thing else today that might make you even more angry than that is when we get to the Anthony Fauci stuff and him admitting that he made up guidelines.
Yeah.
Which is why this can never, ever, ever happen again in America, because we talk about keeping the scorecard so you remember everything that has happened.
Mhm.
So Trump, in this situation, we did predictions. I don't know where I am right now, but considering that they followed through everything that they did,
Mhm.
I don't think he's going to go to jail. I think they're going to put a probation on him, and he's
Mhm.
going to have some sort of restrictions on where he can and can't go.
Minimally, some sort of a house arrest.
So I'm coming out with my predictions from that standpoint right now. I have no idea if the Supreme Court is going to get involved. He has asked the Supreme Court to get involved.
Mhm.
I'm not sure if they would pick it up, take it up, and if they did, how would they be able to put that on the fast track when we have an election coming up in November?
Mhm.
Well, allegedly, we have an election coming up in November. We're going to have to wait and see everything that comes from that standpoint. And then, of course, as we told you last week, Joe Biden came out with a presser telling everybody that justice was served, that this was a fair trial, that the judge handled things in a beautiful manner. And, oh yeah, I had nothing to do with any of this. It was a weird, evil picture of Joe Biden. He was asked if he had anything to do with this, and Trump accused it. He just kind of looked around and just kind of like smiled,
Mhm.
like,
That big
yeah.
old smirk.
And here's the other point. Yeah, exactly. If you look at
Mhm.
the picture, appreciate that, Joe. And this is what you're going to hear people on the Democratic side say. As Glenn, and by the way, we appreciate it when you jump into the chat line. It is the people's platform, hundreds of 500 to 1,000 comments a day. We are grateful for you guys jumping in, chatting with others, being a part of the show. Alex Soros, who is now the brain trust behind the Soros Foundation and everything that Soros does when it comes to money and dividing not only the United States, but the world, said there is a push now. Anytime you speak of Donald Trump, you call him a convicted felon.
Mhm.
Convicted felon, convicted felon, convicted felon. It is pure evil. I agree. And that's the narrative that you're going to hear. Convicted felon, convicted felon, convicted felon.
Yeah.
And I started to see social media all over the weekend that if that's a convicted felon, then I'm a convicted felon, and I'm going to vote for a convicted felon.
Yeah, I saw that too.
Because this will not fly in the United States of America. And we know that the left knows what's going on. Saw the donations that started to come in. So you're going to hear this narrative. So it may piss you off, but we try to prepare you on the show. Get ready. It's already begun. And every time his name is used, or people or family members or loved ones or friends or coworkers, convicted felon, convicted felon, convicted felon. So just understand, so you don't lose your temper. If you're just to remain mature,
Mhm.
be persistent.
Yes.
But be positive and just know that it's coming, that he's going to be called a
Yes.
convicted felon, regardless of how this was done.
Mhm.
Regardless that we still don't know a charge. The defense still has no idea what happened. Now, there are some grounds for appeals. There are several grounds for appeals.
Yes.
But do you really think for a second that a New York judge somewhere in that area, how about that state, is going to go against the apple cart? Is somebody going to upset the apple cart? I would bet against it. If you are in the state of New York, and if you want to have a job, and if you don't want people coming at you and your family and your loved ones and your friends, you're going to stay status quo.
Correct. Most people will stay status quo.
We like to predict a lot of the things that happen on the show. We try to educate, but we try to predict as well. Your thoughts from that standpoint. Do you think that he would win on appeal? I don't. I don't because I don't trust what New York has done.
I don't either. Yeah, I don't think he wins on appeal either. I think that if they can, I think they will put him in prison. If they can actually get by with it, this judge has no mercy. I think he does get put in prison, and at the very least, he has house arrest. And I saw something with his son, Don Jr., with Tucker, and they were talking about that and basically said as much too, because they both think they want to put him in there, and then he comes out not alive. So I really do believe that too. I think they will stop at nothing. And because you know why? Don Jr. was telling Tucker that they're literally trying to take a congressman is trying to take away his Secret Service right now.
Yeah, that came out last week. We started to see what was happening from the standpoint of the Secret Service being taken away. And of course, if you didn't see that, it is, I repeat, it is a possibility at some point in time. I'm not getting on the unalive train yet. I know that more people feel that would get to a certain point in time.
I think we're already here.
Maybe I'm going to get there. Maybe I am. And the reason I say that is because of what happened in this trial. Because the trial did not do what it was supposed to do. What did it do?
It backfired.
It backfired.
It absolutely did.
And if you felt like conservatism or Donald Trump, or you yourself took a hit on Thursday/Friday, you didn't. You didn't. Because Donald Trump only became stronger.
That's right.
And all the media coverage across the country continues to get stronger for him. There is nobody who was a Trump fan that did not become less of a Trump. It didn't happen. People only became stronger with Donald Trump. And now new people, new fans.
Yeah.
Going, wait a second. And he's winning with independents.
He is winning with independents, which is great. It's got a lot of people off the fence is what it did. And like you just said, Vic, people who had never donated this time because now it's personal to them because they know it could happen to them because no one's perfect. Everybody has done something wrong. And now it has made it that some judge that doesn't like you can come after you.
We were asked from the chat line, is there a legal limit as to how much the fines could be for a Donald Trump? I don't know. I did hear a pundit say somewhere around $500,000.
Yep, I had heard that too.
Which is chump change for Trump after what we have seen with his fines before. And of course, the money that's coming in. Not only did it backfire when it came to people supporting Donald Trump, it backfired because now you see the money coming in. Over $100 million in donations to the Trump campaign after what has happened. And the biggest part of that is at one point in time when there was about 50 million, at least over 30% of the money that came in were new time donors. That's huge.
Yeah. Huge.
Celebrate, conservatives, celebrate, Trump fans. This is big. This shows that you are not in the minority. You are in the majority, just like you were in 2020. You are in the majority. That's right. I said you were in the majority in 2020 as well. And Glenn, did you produce my show? I'm looking online. And then what did he do? And we're going to get to Donald Trump was at UFC.
Yes.
And because of some rights with the UFC and things, we're going to play all the UFC stuff towards the end of the show. You won't want to miss it. But he kicked ass again. He walked in and got the loudest chant or cheer for a person I've ever heard, athlete, entertainer, or politician, when he walked into Newark, New Jersey. And let me remind you, a blue freaking state.
That's right.
And a state that has been blue for a long time with a thunderous, loud standing ovation. Normally we would show you the video now, but we're going to show you towards the end of the show. The UFC loves it when we do it, but there's AI algorithms that when you play things from the UFC, it might knock you off the show. So we do it, but then they immediately fix it and we don't want to lose anybody. Isn't that kind of how it always goes, Joe, from that standpoint?
Yeah, the UFC always allows it after, and like Facebook and all the other AI takes it down.
And that's Joe who's talking. You hear his voice. You don't see him. but that's Joe. He will show himself.
There he is. There's Joe.
There's our producer, engineer extraordinaire. So we'll do it towards the end of the show. But Trump walked into UFC. Normally he's walking with other people. You've seen him walk in with Dana White. You've seen him walk in with Tucker Carlson and Kid Rock. This time was different.
Yeah, it was.
Donald walked ahead, the leader.
Yeah.
And the place, I thought he was going to cry. He looked emotional.
I thought he did too. I think it was very emotional for him. And the videos that I keep seeing of people coming up to him, he's getting emotional with it now, because I think it was hard for him to for anybody to sit there cold and feel the injustice and then feel like I'm fighting for these people, but they appreciate it. So that has to be overwhelming. I thought I could not love that man more. And then he gets now he's a felon, and I love it even more because there leaves no doubt he's fighting for us. No doubt. He has nothing to gain by doing this. Absolutely nothing. He could go back to Mar-a-Lago, live his life, go play golf, go hang out with his grandkids who he absolutely adores. Instead, he's fighting for us.
And when we show you the video, you'll see a sold out crowd standing and cheering for Donald Trump as he walked in, shook hands, kissed babies, thunderous loud. And then during the fight, you had an African-American fighter win, jump the fence, jump the octagon cage, and go straight up to Donald Trump, get on his knees and shake his hand.
It's just beautiful. It made me want to cry.
Sean Strickland had another big win, the Australian, during the fight, talking about how he was done wrong. I'm going to donate to you. I'm going to support you. And then in the presser, you'll hear his presser as well, talking about how much he supports Donald Trump and why everybody should. And this is a guy from Australia. He's like, I didn't think I'd like Donald Trump. And he's like, then when I met him, you talk to him and he cares about you, or at least gives you the feeling that he does.
That's right.
He's talking to you. He's asking about my family, and we're having a good, deep conversation. We obviously, there is no competition between Donald Trump and Joe Biden. You know it.
Yeah, no.
We show you the Joe Bidenisms on a weekly basis for sure, if not daily, if not every other day, of how he can't speak, talk, well, he shits himself. We talked about it. We show you. It's funny. It's sad. You get everything. At the end of the day, he's incompetent, and we know he's not going to be able to run for president when. There's no way. And the left knows it, which is why there's such a disastrous approach to Donald Trump. And that's why we know if the left thought that Donald Trump was such a bad president, they wouldn't be going after him as hard as they are.
That's right.
There is such as we say, an evil presence about the vitriol that they have against the man. So Donald Trump had a huge night. And then guess what? Right afterwards, what does he do? He goes to TikTok.
Yeah,
ladies and gentlemen, if you're not on TikTok, please check it out. We are also on TikTok. Donald Trump is now on TikTok with over 3.5 million followers from the moment that he got on. And many people still don't know that he is on TikTok. So that's another aspect of his campaigning, is that he is going anywhere and everywhere he needs to go to meet the people. So the left is trying to keep him out of campaigning anywhere that he can. And all he's going to do is continue to find these platforms, Lizzie.
I know. I think it's
Joe,
great.
Our crowd, our listeners, Donald Trump is rolling right along.
Yeah, he is. That's really great. And at one point, he wanted to get rid of TikTok, but now I think he realizes it's not going anywhere, and it's not any worse than any other platform.
I know I'm not against TikTok. I mean, if people want to get rid of it, I'm like, yeah, if people want to keep it, that's fine too.
Yeah. I feel the same way.
Tammy says it brought tears to my eyes. I'm assuming she was talking about the video that she saw from the other night. Susan says it's almost like we're making a movie.
Yeah.
And we're all in it.
Yeah. It is kind of like that. It
seems like that movie started in 2020.
Yeah. I think the movie started before that. I think the movie started in 2014 or 2015. 2015 to be exact, when Obama and Fauci were over at the Wuhan lab.
I'm going to go even deeper and say, I think it started on 9/11.
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna go all the way back there.
Yeah, I think he's right. Yeah,
Joe, we need to see your camera when you talk.
but it wasn't so
the look
obvious.
on your face was great when you just said that.
Yeah.
We could see you.
That was great.
The viewers could not see you when you said that. I mean, holy shit. It is a movie. It's a bad movie that we're all in right now. But you know what? A lot of movies have highs and they have lows.
They do.
And but most of them, the good ones, end with a high note.
That's right.
Trump got 5 times more followers on TikTok in 24 hours. Think about this. 5 times more followers on TikTok in 24 hours than Joe Biden and Kneepad Cammie entire campaign in 6 months.
Wow. Wow.
People, this is not going to be an election. It will be a bloodbath. And I don't care if you try to bring in your illegals and everything else. It's too big to rig. I said it's too big to rig. It's not going to go the other way. There's too much. There's too much support for Donald Trump, which is why I say something happens where there isn't an election or everything else gets rigged from the standpoint that we talk about when it comes to Congress. You now have Democrats talking about how if they take out, they're going to, quote, try to oust Clarence Thomas and Sam Alito and other conservative judges. It's not just about trying to, quote, pack the Supreme Court with more so that you can take away the conservative vote or the conservative lean, which many consider to be 6-3. I would call it 5-4, 6-3 in name only. However, think about everything in our life that has changed with one man, one politician, the most popular politician in the history of this country, who is pulling off the biggest rallies in the history of this country and previously blue states. And they still may go blue. But my God, what he has done in a short amount of time in New Jersey, in New York, and people actually going, you know what? We're going to listen to this guy now. And get this, Chris says, and he reminds us all when it comes to TikTok, this shows you the power of Donald Trump. His first post got nearly 50 million views. Oh, yeah, but he's not the most popular man. He might be the most popular man in the world right now.
I'm sure you're right.
I said too big to rig. Glenn says too legit to quit. Hey, he probably knew MC. So we continue to bring you everything that's going there. Todd says, look at New Jersey's UFC over the huge weekend of Trump support. And that's what we began the show with. And we're going to show you some of those images, those videos, the things that happened over the weekend coming up a little bit later in the show when it comes to Donald Trump support at UFC. And I think most people understand the UFC support, but what it was Dana Howard said people and advertisers started to come to him and say, you need to stop letting Donald Trump come to UFC or we're going to pull out. And this is not terminology I try to use, but Dana Howard, he said, fuck you.
Yeah.
Dana said, fuck you.
Literally.
He's like, that man is why the UFC exists. When nobody else would give us a shot, he allowed us to go into his hotels and have our events. And I said I would always back that man. Loyalty, honesty, faithfulness. You can't have a relationship unless you're loyal or not. You can't lie to people. You can't say you're going to do something or that you're faithful to somebody and then you're not and think that you're going to have a good relationship. Eventually it's going to fail. Something's going to come to light. Donald Trump has been loyal and faithful and honest to UFC, and they came right back. That's loyalty, faithfulness. And now they have exploded with popularity, worldwide, massive audience, and they all love Donald Trump because Donald Trump gave them a chance when nobody else would. And that's just one story. There are stories all over the place. And I know that our first hour is dominated with Donald Trump stuff, but it has been, and it was the biggest story that we've had in news for a long time. Pam says the jurors were all picked by the prosecution and judge. That in itself is not so right. Well, of course. That's why I've been telling you on the show from before the trial started, it's going to be on purpose. They're going to find him guilty because they can't.
That's right.
They can't not find him guilty. He's going to get support everywhere, but it would make them look stupid. He got the support because of their verdict. They walk away with less egg on their face because now they can call him a convicted felon.
That's right. And you don't know how many of these people, if we find out later, people are saying, look at the bank accounts of the jurors here in about a year. See if there's a lot of money in there.
Yeah, but that'd be hard. I agree, but that'd be hard. I don't know how we could prove
I don't know that you can prove it, but you can tell by the donors how that happened. and it may not even be tomorrow, but you know that that's going to happen.
Whatever happens, the thing that's going on right now is that we are 100% living in a movie, as a viewer said.
Sure are.
And Donald Trump is the star of that movie. And I think the Donald Trump story continues to get better.
I do too.
We're still talking about him. We're still promoting him. He's still putting out ideas and telling you what he's going to do when he is president. We still don't know about Joe Biden. They can't run Joe Biden. They can't. He has zero shot. And are we going to really see debates coming up in June? Hasn't that gone kind of quiet?
You don't hear anything about it hardly.
What do you think? I mean, I know we had the trial, and I know people need to step away and take a break, take a deep breath on where we're going from that standpoint. I just don't know if we're really going to have those debates.
I'd be surprised.
And if we do, does Joe Biden call him a convicted felon?
100%. That's all it is. If they do have it, that's what the entire thing is going to be about. Every other sentence is going to be convicted felon, but that doesn't go anywhere. Nobody cares.
That's what any candidate's going to bring up.
Correct. But that just backfires on them because we don't care that he is. Matter of fact, in some ways, we like that he is because he's fighting for us. So that doesn't hurt Donald Trump at all. Go ahead and keep saying it, Sleepy Joe. Keep saying it over and over and over. We don't care.
Trish says, are they going to replace JB about debate time? Maybe. Susan says no debates. That was just a deflection. Also from the chat line, if those jurors aren't pariah or worse by then.
That's right.
Yeah. And we're going to start. Maybe we'll start to hear a little more of what's going on.
Yeah, we will.
What happened behind the scenes, but it doesn't matter.
No, we already knew.
The verdict's in. I don't think they're going to get an overturn on appeal. I don't. I hope I'm wrong, but I don't. I don't think there's any chance. And I've already told you what I think. Maybe some kind of probation, some kind of house arrest, some way to keep him from campaigning.
Correct. But if that's okay. If that's what hurts him, that's no big deal because he can campaign from a jail cell and make $52 million in 24 hours. So that
nobody
really
else can do this.
No. So that's fine. Who cares now at this point, other than the fact we like to see him at rallies. But if he's put in jail, if he's under house arrest or any of those things, that doesn't stop the Trump train moving forward. Matter of fact, it just accelerates it.
Even that I don't understand because even P. Diddy didn't get, he's not, P. Diddy was more of a flight risk than President Trump.
Of course. Yeah.
So if they put him on house arrest, there's no, I don't see how they could do that.
And he's not going anywhere. He's not going to leave the United States and abandon the American people. And that's what is driving the left crazy. They know, even if they don't want to, and they don't like his orange hair, and they don't like he tweets or whatever it is, they know the American people love him, and they know that he loves us, and he puts America first, and it drives them nuts.
Megan, who did an amazing job coming in on Thursday and Friday, says the liberals, especially the judge, want to see him behind bars.
That's right, Megan.
That's why they will stop at nothing. And I wouldn't be surprised. I'm just saying, I think that somehow, some way, because the vitriol has been pretty intense against the judge and against this jury for what they have done, where I feel as if they try to put him behind bars, it's only going to up the ante. When they started this, they didn't know that this would happen.
Right. Nobody
now,
sure.
They're like, oh my God, all this is doing is giving him more and more attention, more money, more donations, more popularity. His ratings are sky high. He is dominating the crap out of Joe Biden. That's where I come from. That's where my guess comes from.
Well, yeah. And
I don't have insider information. Right. That's why I say, I don't think they put him behind bars and he's already addressing it. He's already going, I'll go behind bars.
Yeah.
Where he's trying to call their shots. Like, I want to go behind bars. It's almost one of those types of issues.
Yeah. Well, and Paul is saying the jury, going back to them, they'll never have normal lives again. They are owned now by the dark side, and they're going to get what they got.
From the chat line. And you guys, once again, you educate and entertain us. We educate and entertain you. That's why the support is great. We appreciate you supporting us, liking, subscribing, sharing the show, cancelthisshow.com. Also, here's the other thing. We were just asked, if Donald Trump wins, can he pardon himself?
I don't think so.
No, it is 100%. He cannot, because it's New York state law,
right,
which was tried federally. He cannot do it. He cannot pardon himself. So once again, they were lining it up. And as Eric likes to say, Democrats play checkers, Republicans play chess. But at the same point in time, I did see many Republicans coming out and trying to support Donald Trump. Many.
Many. And you know what? If this had happened on the opposite, if we had done this to Obama and convicted him and made him a convicted felon, you know that every street corner in America would have BLM riots and Antifa riots and all that. That's not how patriots act. And I'm not saying conservatives and Republicans, because there was plenty of Democrats and independents that donated money to Donald Trump. We vote with our money. So instead, we gave money to Trump because we're busy working. We're busy, watching our children grow up. We're not crying in our oatmeal every 5 minutes. We just fight back. But if this had been the opposite, it would have been an absolute burning of America. Instead, they didn't contemplate this. I think they hoped that we would loot and cry and whine and hate him. Instead, we're going about our lives, still liking him, still doing what we do. But by working, we're giving money to Donald Trump. I think they finally are understanding that the bear's been poked and everything is boomeranging back on them. It's not working the way they had planned.
Which is why, if they put him in jail, I think it's only going to give more hype, more money, more popularity, more ratings, more strength to Donald Trump, which is why it would be the worst thing that they could do.
Mm-hmm. And maybe that's
I don't want to see them try to do that to him.
No, I don't either.
But if they do, okay, game on, mother truckers.
Yep, game on.
I'll see at the election. Just wait and see what's going to happen.
That's right.
Troy says Obama's presidency was the biggest scam ever played on the American people.
Oh, 100%. 100%.
It's when we really saw media dominate and try to take control of everything.
Mm-hmm.
Everything.
And that's why I
hide
was shocked.
Everything.
Yeah, I was shocked, Vic, that people then didn't wake up then. And so much more had happened, including the pandemic and the inflation. And Republicans and conservatives and whoever else still didn't react the way I thought they would react. It took this. It took all of that adding up with now Trump being a convicted felon to actually get the patriots to go, enough is enough, because they've now poked the bear. Enough is enough.
Well, the other thing that this trial had, and if you consider all of the implications, not only in America, but around the world, Kevin O'Leary was from Shark Tank, super, super smart guy. Massively successful when it comes to business, a New Yorker who ripped all of this going on in New York from the get-go and talked about how this was going to destroy New York business, almost in a sense like it was done on purpose to destroy New York.
Mm-hmm.
Has said people don't even realize the effect that it's had internationally. Business leaders, owners going, wait a second, we don't want to be involved in American business.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, we talk about the dollar. I talk about it a lot. Robert, one of our guests, talks about it a lot. You may not think this is going to have an impact from that standpoint too. It's like, wait a second, America's a shit show.
Oh, we look terrible. We're embarrassing right now.
A total shit show that they would go and do this, and that they can rig stuff in America. If they do it to him, they can do it to anybody.
That's right.
How stable of a country are they? Do we want to invest our money in this shithole place where you have all sorts, and let's just call it illegal activity going on? And the trial was illegal. It was judge, jury, executioner. Was not fair, was not right, was not just, didn't make sense, didn't even have crimes that were legitimately there. Do we really want to be a part of this? Yeah, that's a reality. And he's talking about how scared to death he is. And then Trump came out yesterday and said, mark my words, if I am not president, and of course the left will spin it and say, oh, he's just trying to scare you. They're scare tactics. Mark my words, if I am not the president in 2024, America is going to see a massive collapse of our economy. It's coming.
It is coming.
Wait and see. If I am not president, watch what happens. He's called a shot.
Yep.
It's not a scare tactic.
It's the truth.
He was the president. He had great years, not good, great years.
Yes.
He said what he was going to do, and he did what he did. And you think he's scare tactics, but the left will continue to do that. Even Dan Abrams, in an interview / debate with Megyn Kelly, he's a convicted felon. He had wrongdoing. This country's better without him. It's like, really? Really? And that's on that show News Nation, which unfortunately came out and said that they were going to be down the middle, and they're not.
They're not. You can't even watch
Then
that
they
either.
hired Chris Cuomo. They hired Dan Abrams. All they did was hire all the ex-CNN people who got fired or left,
That's right.
who couldn't get ratings at CNN.
Mm-hmm.
So watch what you want. I'm just telling you what they are. Stay away from it. It's bad news. You're not going to get real news when you go there. So these are all the things that Trump is trying to warn people. But his popularity continues to rock and roll. Just look at his interview. He did an interview with Fox and Friends on Sunday. He talked about a lot during this interview. And Joe, we can run any of those interviews. He talked about what he will do if and when he is president, and they were all terrific questions.
They were. I really liked his transparency on these.
Okay, here are some of the quick clips and go back and look at it from Fox and Friends. Terrific interview from the weekend here with Donald Trump.
Well, and I thought that was really great because a lot of times weekend news. Oh, here it is. Here we go.
That everyone's talking about. I know you talked earlier about. I don't want to be a conspiracy theorist. So, if you were president, would you declassify? You can answer yes or no to these. Yeah. Would you declassify the 9/11 files?
Yeah.
Would you declassify JFK files?
Yeah.
Would you?
I did a lot of it.
Would you declassify the Epstein files?
Yeah.
Okay. Donald Trump said he would declassify 9/11 files.
Love
Woo!
it. We need those.
More of the JFK.
Yes.
And probably Epstein.
Yeah.
Are you seeing why the deep state wants him gone?
You betcha.
Wants him nowhere near the White House.
Mm-hmm.
While Vivek Ramaswamy said months and months and months ago, they will do anything and everything it takes to keep him away from the White House, which is why we have to support this man.
Which is why just that right there, that clip, Vic, talking about the 3 things that he can expose, the deep state, and we've talked about this so much on the show, are so involved in this knee deep in evil, from pedophilia to stealing. We could just go on and on and on to how they set up us. We look like fools now, any one of us that felt bad about 9/11. Our government did that to us. Donald Trump knows that. That's where I double down when I say if he gets elected, if they cannot get rid of him by putting him in jail, he's gone. He's a goner. Or they're going to try to make him gone, because look what he just said. That right there is why they want him gone.
Roland says he has Super Bowl.
Yeah, he does have Super
Peter
Balls.
says drain the swamp, exclamation point.
Yeah.
Terry, exactly why they are trying to keep him out.
That's right.
The 9/11 files. Does that mean George W. would go to jail?
That's right. Yes, he would.
That just gives me concerns. They will do anything in all caps to prevent Trump from taking office from Chris. Todd says bingo. He is not afraid of anybody. He has never been afraid of anybody. No. He doesn't have to answer to anybody. He does not have to go and make sure that he's taking care of people who are giving him money because he's not accepting their money.
Correct.
Robert reminds us the deep state foreign aid, the kickbacks and Green New Deal money for them. The Green New Deal is a big issue.
Yes, it is.
And that's what the Democrats are pumping and promoting. And we invite Democrats at any point to come on and talk and debate with us. And we will treat you with respect as long as you treat us with respect. But people are afraid to come on here because they know we will destroy them with fact.
Yeah, with truth. We're not making this up. We can back it up with facts. And all of their Green New Deal and all that there's nothing true about it, but there's money, power, and greed involved in it. And that's what this is all been about. All of it. And Donald Trump is exposing that. Donald Trump was around these people when he was a Democrat and was around these people as a socialite. And then he started to see how they were acting and was like, holy bejeebers, I don't want to be part of Epstein, and kicked him out of his club. He knows where the bodies are buried.
That was just one of the questions that Donald Trump answered in that Fox and Friends interview from Sunday. Here's another clip. And I believe we have 2 more. Isn't that right, Joe? Yeah.
There is, however, I think one's a different clip from the same. He's basically saying that he's going to declassify
Okay,
those
well,
3
then we'll
things.
play the other one.
Okay, here we go.
The judge could decide to say, hey, house arrest or even jail.
It
How
could.
do you face what that could be?
I'm okay with it. I saw one of my lawyers the other day on television saying, oh, no, you don't want to do that to the president. I said, you don't beg for anything. You just, the way it is.
The judge could decide to say, hey, house arrest or even jail.
It
How
could.
do you face what that could be?
I'm okay
Trump
with
is
it.
not
I
afraid.
saw
He's not afraid.
one of my
to go to
lawyers the
jail.
other
Yeah,
He's not afraid of it.
that's
And
right.
this is what we were talking about. He's like, bring it on.
Yeah. Because I think he knows, just like we do, Vic, it could go either way. They're not going to let him off. The least they're going to do to him is house arrest or something to that nature. But I don't put it past them to put him in jail. They're going to do anything because they don't want all of those things unsealed.
Jason giving us a reference from your favorite TV show. Donald knows where the train station is.
Yeah, he does. From Yellowstone. He knows where the train station is.
Jeannie
That's
wants
right.
UFOs declassified. He has talked a little bit about that in the past.
Yeah,
And that's another interesting topic that we have here.
that's right.
Whether you believe in UFOs or not, or if it's government technology or
Mhm.
not,
Mhm.
you know, we like to have fun with those topics. That's for sure. Donna brings up Hunter's trial. Yeah, we'll get into that as well because that's starting as well. Todd says the former president jailed for one misdemeanor that was a fake charge to begin
Of
with.
course.
And just remember, we have shown you this over and 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 over again. Just remember, we showed you the written statement that Stormy Daniels made that she never, ever, ever received any money for any hush money, nor had any affair with Donald Trump. She said that I have written this and had to answer this on multiple times, 4 or 5 times. Please stop. It's done. She released this statement through her attorney and she signed it. This was back in 2017. This is why they would not bring this trial up 6 years ago, because they didn't, there was nothing there. Stormy Daniels wrote all of this out and signed it. And we showed you that right here.
Mhm.
We showed it to you multiple times. So just remember, when they want to call him a convicted felon, the judge would not allow that to be put into evidence.
Of course not. I mean,
Yet this man can still call himself a judge. And his daughter has been making a lot of money. That's the other issue that we have talked about.
mhm.
Once again, when you can control the rules in that one area, which would not have been done in anywhere else in America,
That's right.
that's what they did. That's what they tried to do to control. That's how far the deep state will go. And that's what we try to out on our show every single day, Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 here on canceltheshow.com. That's why we appreciate that you like, subscribe, share our show. That's why we appreciate that you promote us, that you let us know about sponsors, about people who want to get behind us and make sure that we're doing everything that we possibly can do. Glenn says, did she perjure herself in this trial? You better believe she perjured
Yes, she
herself.
did.
100% she did.
Mhm.
Even Bill Maher, who does not like Donald Trump, who says that he has Trump derangement syndrome, said she lied on the stand. But if the judge isn't going to allow it to go forward, there's not much that they can do. He's getting paid through his daughter. The left says the letter was fake.
Of course they do. Of course they do.
Yeah, and they also said that Donald Trump's massive rally in the Bronx
Mhm.
was that of Obama's.
The left can say that that letter's fake all they want.
They
I
can.
remember when that was written and posted. I remember her talking about it.
Yeah.
I remember all of it.
Yeah,
So people
yeah.
can say it's fake. You can't mess with unless it's one of those oh my god, where things
AI?
change. No. Oh my god.
Well, you know what? I think it's just when we were talking about the left saying this is fake, it just always makes me
The
look at
Mandela
people.
effect.
The Mandela
Sorry.
effect. There you go. There you go. I just always look at them, and all of us have some relative or even a friend that we've had for years that's liberal, and they are just celebrating this right now. They think this is so great. But when you ask them, say, I'm not even totally clear of these NA charges because they've purposely made it confusing. How do you know for sure that he's a convicted felon? Well, the only thing to say was because our justice system said, and our justice system is so great. That's all they got. I've never heard somebody say anything else because they don't even know what it is either. They have no idea what this is all about. They'll just say, well, you know, I had somebody say to me yesterday, I feel so sorry for Melania. Now that it's come out that he's a convicted rapist, that's what they thought. They literally thought that he was a felon from raping Stormy Daniels. So that's how some people are even taking this. And I'm like, that's not what this was about. But they don't know. They just are hearing from the mainstream media, and they don't care about the truth if they're still listening to these things.
Anthony says, I laughed when they said it was an Obama rally because he heard the same thing that I did.
Mhm.
I wasn't aware that tens of thousands of Trump-loving people showed up to his rallies years and years ago.
That's right.
By the way, Chris adds, the judge should not only have his ruling overturned, but he should be disbarred for misconduct and profiting.
Yes.
Of course, his family member, his daughter, on a
His
case that
daughter.
he presided over.
Mm-hmm.
But they won't be able to prove that he profited or received money because it's going to his daughter.
That's right.
Okay,
Mhm.
these are the things. It's a sign of the times, 2024. It's where we are, people. Please like, subscribe, share the show where we are. The things that are happening right now in this country when it comes to Donald Trump, it's insane, as he always said, and will continue to say it. They're not coming after me. They're coming after you. I just happen to stand in the way. So since I'm standing in the way, they're coming after me. And there you go.
And there you go.
This is going all the way to the Supreme Court, according to Peter. And if it does, it's going to take some time.
Yeah, it is.
It's going to take some time, which makes me always think about the show of things that are actually happening. It's all for show.
Yeah. We're living
It's
in
all
one
for show.
big Truman
it's
show.
going to push us all over the place. And you're just trying to you're trying to make sense of all of this that has happened and where we're going. And we'll continue to talk Donald Trump. We'll continue to show you his big, and I mean big deal that happened over the weekend with the UFC. But we also wanted to give our sponsors a shout out and a thanks. Complete Auto Body Repair. Complete Auto Body Repair. That's CompleteAB.com. CompleteAB.com. If you need your car fixed, anything, A to Z, you go to a company that supports us, that support everything that we do with this podcast. 314-731-7999. That's 314-731-7999. But when you go there, be sure to tell them that you heard about them on Cancel This, that you appreciate what they do for Cancel This, because without them, we wouldn't be able to be here. We are grateful for them and their support. I've used them. Lizzie's used them. Many of our viewers and listeners have used them. Give Curtis and his team a call, 314-731-7999. And if you're looking for jobs, they also have lots of jobs open. They're looking to hire, and they have so many jobs, and the people who work for the company absolutely love it.
That's
Also, the St. Louis Injury Council, David Greger. If you've been in a car accident, you're not going to find anybody better. He's a former state rep. He's running for state senate. He's an accountant as well. He wrote many of the laws that Missouri uses right now when it comes to protecting you as individuals if you've been not only hurt in a car accident, but had workers' comp issue, or if you have a conservative issue. And what do I mean by that? Well, Dave is the super conservative attorney, and he promotes himself as that, and he's not afraid. He goes out and said, yes, I'm a conservative, and I'm going to stand up for those causes. Case in point, 7 for 7 when it comes to getting people their jobs back who were fired or forced out because they refused to get the, that thing in your arm,
Yeah, that
that
thing.
shot in your arm, that
That thing.
cupcake, as we like to refer to it as. David, 7 for 7 doing it. Hey, go wherever you want to go, but don't go anywhere until you call Dave first. 314-619-4230. 314-619-4230. Why can I say that? Well, because I've used them on 2 different occasions, and it shocked me at how good Dave was. You're not going to find any better. WeQuip USA, the peer-to-peer rental marketplace. You can go to the website, wequipusa.com, and you can rent items that are there. You may not want to buy it, don't have time, or you can put your own items up for rent. It's fantastic. It's a terrific site that you can use there. And of course, Wendy's in the Chesterfield Valley, they continue to dominate. You're not going to find better burgers, pizza, wings, smoked meats at their location in the Chesterfield area. They have a massive patio. They've got entertainment all the time. And they're also doing well out in Defiance in the middle of wine country.
Mm-hmm.
They've been there now 3 weekends, and they're crowded as heck all the time. It's because they've got great food. They have terrific situations that are going on there. Packed this weekend is again, Ben and Marla Khan, former New Yorkers, taking care of business throughout the Missouri area. And of course, we are grateful for Winty's support of what we do here with CancelThisShow.com. I'm Vic Faust. That's Lizzie Sparks, Pro Joe in the house as well, producer, engineer extraordinaire. We're here Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. Central, and all the time on our website, CancelThisShow.com. If you know of people who want to support us or get behind us because of the messages that we are putting out there and the information, please let us know. Vic at CancelThisShow.com. Lizzie at CancelThisShow.com. If you know of other sponsors from a national standpoint, people want to advertise with us, let us know so we can get them here. And we also take donations as well. We have it on our website. You can go to it by our phone or a laptop. Anything helps keep us going for what we're doing. And we're appreciative of your support. You can watch us as always on X. You can watch us on Facebook, on CloutHub, on YouTube, and what else? Oh, and YouTube, Facebook, CloutHub, X, What am I missing?
Twitch, Twitter, audio platforms, you name, literally is almost not a platform we're not on.
Yeah, audio. As soon as the show ends, we go there, and of course, you can watch us live. Okay, other big stories, or I don't know if it's a big story, but it is something that's going on. The Trump trial ends. Hunter Biden's gun trial starts today.
Of course it does.
Right after, here it is Monday after the Trump verdict. Trump, so basically, Hunter's they have jury selection today. He tried to buy a gun while he was still high on drugs. This tried to go away, but then a judge said, wait a second, I'm not going to give you this sweetheart deal anymore. He could face prison time. He could. We'll see where it all goes. I'm sure they'll plead out somehow, some way. But he lied, trying to get a gun. And then they were ready to accept a plea deal and then went back on it. And then they're like, oh, well, Hunter didn't fill out that form for a gun. Somebody else filled it out for him. Yeah, right. Okay. We believe that. So Hunter, just remember the corruption that was going on with payments that the House Oversight Committee was doing a phenomenal job with. Once the Republicans got control of the House, had brought us all sorts of information, payments, proof of payments to the Biden family from different countries for doing nothing, just payments coming in, nothing. All kinds of payments coming in. And then it all stopped October 7th. What happened October 7th? We had the attack in Gaza. October 7th, it all went away. Go back, if you don't believe me, look at all the stories that we were talking about. October 7th hit, and then it went to something else, and then it went to something else. But we get a Biden back into the news now with the trial that is now taking place for Hunter Biden. It doesn't look good for him. I know how this isn't a court that's going to be rigged like the one that was rigged in New York, but I'm still not so sure what's actually going to happen when it comes to it. To me, it seems like small potatoes now. Once the Trump deal has gone on,
that's right.
It's going to be rigged the opposite way.
Yeah, I mean,
what do you mean?
Well, it'll be rigged for Hunter. He's not going to serve any time or do anything over this.
No, nothing's going to happen to him.
He's gonna get some ice cream with his dad.
Well, Jill Biden is at the courthouse celebrating her birthday, showing support for her son. I mean, this is the kind of stuff that should make you sick to your stomach. So jury selection kicks off in his federal gun trial. That's what we were talking about. He's charged, as I told you, with making a false statement during the purchase of a firearm, as well as possession of a firearm by a person who was an unlawful user of or addicted to a controlled substance. He should go to effing prison.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you right now, there are so many African Americans in this country who have spoke up. Former rappers and current rappers spoke up how they were pissed how Hunter Biden was, and this is a case of white privilege, a case of Biden privilege.
Biden privilege.
Have gone to jail for similar things. And Hunter Biden, oh no, I'm going to get off on this. He faces a maximum sentence of 25 years in prison if he's convicted on all counts. He won't be.
No.
The jury selection begins today in that situation. The charge also carries a fine of $250,000. Keep in mind, this is the same guy who's about $5 million behind on child support for a child that he refuses. $5 million that he refuses to accept as his own.
Could you imagine if that was Don Jr.? I mean,
once again, yeah. Tell the story and then put a different face on the person.
That's right. That's right. You talk about, you're absolutely right, Vic, Biden privilege. There's something called Clinton and Biden privilege. That is the ultimate white privilege right there.
I mean, this case is straightforward. There's nothing. I mean, there's no way in hell he can't be found guilty. There isn't. There's just no way he can't be found guilty. I know that they're a huge force in the state of Delaware, and there's a lot of political undertones there where it's going on. So he'll have favorability being there, but man, I just,
I don't know. It takes me back to Malcolm X when he literally said, beware of the white liberal, and people thought he was.
I'm glad that you brought that up again, because you have brought that up again before.
I just do, because look at the people in the past they've crucified and made them look like they were crazy, and all of it's coming true. I mean, Black people who still follow the white liberals, you need to wake up because you're being used as a pawn still here in 2024. I mean,
I never knew he said that until I heard you say it.
yeah, I mean, he said that. And I remember years ago, a lot of people, my parents and everybody were talking about how bad he was. And then all of a sudden, I remember one of my relatives saying, he was right. He was right all along. And if you're Black and you are still following white liberals still own you, Black people. And they are still the ones that have you, quote, slaved, because they're the ones that want you living on the federal government, aborting your children, so on and so on. They want to control you. So if you literally want to live as free, well, I should say as free as people in America can live, you need to get out under the wings of a white liberal. They're the worst. They're absolutely the worst. And if you're a Black liberal, I guess I don't even look at you like you're as dumb because you don't know any better. You really don't. You've been raised to think that the Clintons and the Obamas have your back as they come to your Black churches and say what they're going to do for you. But once you kind of get around the corner and you realize you've done nothing for me, nothing. I want to be on my own. I don't want to be controlled by anyone. And the only way you cannot be controlled by anyone is to be an independent or a conservative. So I want people to always remember that and still remember that. And when you think about that, there is no way you could still be a liberal. Zero, especially if you're Black.
I know. I know. It's just one of these things that I don't know what's going to happen with Hunter Biden, but it does begin today. It is news, whether you think it is or not. It's going to get some headlines. It's a little bit more low key because of what's happened with the Trump situation.
And don't you think that's by design, Vic?
Well, of course it is.
They think about this. Trump's thing happened first, and now we're going to be dealing with Hunter Biden, and we're going to be dealing with one of the biggest criminal minds of all time is Fauci. And you know what? This came after the Trump thing. So now you're dealing with a convicted felon, as they're going to call it. So these two, they didn't really do anything that bad.
Well, that leads us into a crazy big story. And Donald Trump said he will have Anthony Fauci investigated if and when he becomes president again.
Mm-hmm.
And this is coming after the National Institute of Health, the NIH, which Fauci was a big supporter of and worked through, found out that their scientist received $710 million in royalties from the COVID pandemic.
Yeah, of course he did.
$710 million in royalty.
Mm-hmm.
And now a report comes forward. I first saw it from you, Lizzie, regarding the Gateway Pundit, that Anthony Fauci, because Fauci's now getting grilled over the pandemic's political decisions and the role in COVID. He's right now in DC being grilled.
He is.
As he should.
That's right.
But if you didn't realize it, he is actually, now this happened months and months and months ago, but now it's being brought forward as part of testimony that is being brought up today. This is why Fauci disappeared from the limelight.
Mm-hmm.
So Fauci has to come back today and answer questions. He has confessed that he, quote, made up COVID rules, including the 6 feet social distancing and masking of kids. Let me repeat that for you. How this man, I'm surprised nobody's gone after and tried to unalive him.
Me too. I'm surprised. That's why he's hiding out. I
Remember seeing your kids masked up?
Ooh, angers me still to this day.
He confessed that he made up the COVID rules.
Yep.
No science. I repeat, no. Remember these women and men who were so indignant. You don't care about the public. You don't care about people's health. He lied. I'm sorry. If you followed Fauci and you backed him against other people, you were wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Not only you're wrong, but you were stupidly wrong.
Stupidly wrong.
And it's okay. Admit you're wrong and move forward.
That's right.
We all make mistakes. But there are still people who are so prideful and arrogant and mean and nasty that they'll refuse to admit that they were wrong. And they went out and said things to other people, your family members, your friends, your coworkers. You know what I'm talking about.
They try to get people fired.
There was never any science. We showed the science against wearing masks and had experts on this show. This man is now saying that he made up the rules. How this man, and once again, given the Time Man of the Year, people trying to bring him out as a face of good, a face of health. I worked with a woman at Fox who is on air, and I'm not going to say her name, Oh, he is just the greatest thing
Oh,
ever.
how did you
Because
keep a
she was-
straight face with her?
It was rough.
I bet it was rough.
It was rough on a daily basis. Anyway,
Yeah, I bet that was well. And look at the people. Look back at the time you're standing in your grocery store all across America, and they have those arrows, and they tell you which way you can walk down an aisle 6 feet apart. And then you have the dumbasses actually at the grocery store being okay. You need to wait there, and you need to be 6 to 10 feet apart because you can't breathe on somebody. I
and
mean,
there are still
ridiculous.
people wearing masks.
Yes,
The dumbass De Niro wore a mask outside
yes.
to his presser last week.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. De Niro, dumbass De Niro, lying De Niro, connected to the Epstein list, evil De Niro, wore a freaking mask
Yes.
outside.
Uh-huh.
He has zero respect from anybody in America.
No, everybody's
Zero.
making fun of him. Even the left. doesn't
Even the
think
left
he's
is
funny.
making fun. He lost his mind.
I mean, he did. I do think that he has to be
What a great picture,
mentally
Joe.
ill.
He's
Yes.
that's
That's
a
him.
picture of mental illness that we are showing
Right there.
now.
Right there. He is the poster child for mental illness. And when we were just talking about the people that fell for that, I am not even crucifying you at the moment. A lot of people have been brought up to believe what you're being told by the CDC. So you just did what you were told. But there was the people that make me angry are the ones that made my kid try to wear things. And she was one of the ones that passed out. It did not work for her. She couldn't breathe. And it was the ones that doubled down and told you were awful and made you go get something in your arm and guilted you and told you that if you didn't do those things, you were a horrible American and you were killing grandma. Those are the people that need to just say, I was wrong. I was wrong and I'm sorry. If you wore it and then didn't crucify anybody else and you just wore because you really thought that Fauci was right or your doctor told you, okay, you do you, boo. But when you tell other people that they're a horrible grandma killer, you need to go apologize. You absolutely do. And I actually my mom did apologize. She was one of those, a lot of people in our family
I
did
respect
not
her
agree
for
with
that.
her. And she has since come to me and apologized because we didn't go around her during that period of time because we didn't have our kids jabbed in the arm. So she didn't want to see us. And she's like, I wasted over 3 years not seeing my grandchildren.
Yeah, she did.
And I was so angry with you. She was angry with me. She wouldn't even talk to me because she thought I didn't love her enough to do this. And I said, Mom, it has nothing to do with this. You're wrong. And my children have to live a long time. And if I make them put things in their arm, I don't know what it is. I could never live with themselves. I'm the mother. And then she would say, but I'm the mother and you won't do these things to come and see me. Now she's like, gosh, I was so wrong. So it's like our kids and my kids were angry with her too. They, up until just really a couple weeks ago, they didn't really want to talk to her very much. And now everybody's forgiven each other. Everybody's fine. Cause I would have to go get my mom by myself. And they were like, Mom, she is the poster child for everything you disagreed with. I said, but she's still my mom. She's still my mom, but I still didn't get the jab for her. I didn't. And I didn't have my kids do it either. So but she's now since apologized and my kids are all good with her now.
It's one of these things, and we all have our ways of looking at things. If something bad has happened, we need to know. I don't want to dwell on the past, but we need to talk about the past.
So it doesn't happen again.
So it doesn't happen again. And everybody needs to know the facts and truth in any situation, whether it's a work situation, personal situation, whether it's a political, we need to have truth, honesty, so that it's out there. We don't have to dwell on what happened in the past, but you have to know so you can move forward.
That's right.
This is why it's so important. If you or someone you knew were these people who became indignant and got in people's faces about this and tried to force kids, and then you look at all the studies of how this hurt kids. My daughter was one that was a dynamic student, and COVID killed her. COVID killed her when it came to school, not health, school. And the only reason it happened was because of Dr. Fauci.
That's right.
He is the reason.
Yeah.
The reason. And we're getting the scorecards now. We're getting all the information, and he is admitting now.
Yeah.
Think back to everything when it comes to these national organizations, the CDC, the World Health Organization, who soon could be making decisions for us as a country, thanks to Biden, Obama.
Mm-hmm.
And remember, just remember the people around, whether it was sports teams and coaches and organizations. Don't let this shit happen again. That's why I have said we would never see anything like COVID try to be forced on us again. And there were people on the show that disagreed with me, and that's fine. Said this would not, they can't push it through again.
Yeah.
There's no way. And they're not going to.
They might try,
because
but it
too much
now.
Because too much has happened and too much is now happening.
Mm-hmm.
How Fauci can't be tried for crimes. How normally these people just get up there and lie.
Yeah. He's responsible. He and the reaction, not COVID itself, the reaction to it is so egregious that he needs to be hung by a tree. I mean, that man is a killer. I know people that got it, but they didn't die from it. And a lot of people think that these people did. No, they died by the overreaction with the ventilators and that Revesdir or whatever you call it. I can't remember how you say that word. But
remdesivir.
Yeah, there you go. Thank you. Those are the things that actually hurt people, unless they had a comorbidity, but the flu would have got you too.
Now, liberals are going to bring up, that Trump said something like, oh, we should all drink bleach or inject that in us. Now, I remember him saying that, and it wasn't quite like that. He was saying, he was asking the people around, he's like, can't we just, he wasn't telling people to go drink bleach, which is what a famous little liberal who's on later always talks about.
Always says that. When
Right.
You know what, Joe, Tammy on the chat line said that she had a friend that got the jab and her cell phone actually, like connected to it with a magnet, hung on her upper arm vertically. No joke. That's just freaky weird. And I forgot about that. A lot of people said the same thing, that there was something that was like magnetic part of it. So, I mean, that should have scared you to death after you took it. I mean, that's just weird.
Well, Fauci's getting grilled right now, which is good news. But to start off the entire service, they had a representative from Wisconsin began by saying, Dr. Fauci, thank you for your years of service to our country. F that shit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Screw him. That guy did nothing for this country.
Mm-hmm.
And he's also gets attached to the AIDS if you want it. We broke that down for you too.
Yeah. Yeah. And Brenda's saying education really, and she's an educator, education really got hurt by this. Students lost a lot. Like you were talking about your daughter. My daughter did too. Not my youngest one, but the one that's fourth. She did, her college and all that online and everything that happened. It's just so weird. I mean, they lost so much that it's tragic. There's so many consequences to what that little twerp did and all the people he convinced to follow him. But don't ever forget, 2015, he was there with Obama at the Wuhan lab. Don't ever forget that this wasn't all on purpose too.
Well, this all comes out of explosive testimony that Fauci gave that's coming to light, revealing that he fabricated, he lied about the 6-foot social distancing guideline. He made it up and other measures purportedly because he said he wanted to make sure that Americans were safe. He was just using his mind, as Ben says on the chat line, claiming ignorance.
Yes, that's what's going to happen. He's
I
right.
Didn't know.
I didn't know. I forgot. It'll be a lot of I forgot too.
With that being said, so Republicans released the complete transcript of their January interview. They interviewed him back in January. And when they did, this was just days before his eagerly awaited public testimony, which is happening right now. And we are waiting and can't wait to see everything that's going on with this.
Mm-hmm.
So during the session today, what they're trying to do is they tend to rigorously question him about the COVID-19 restrictions, which he implemented, which he acknowledged were largely ineffective in slowing the spread. Remember 2 weeks to slow the virus? Wasn't that it? 2 weeks to stop the spread?
Yes.
Yeah. And now we learn that it was all made up.
That's right.
There was no evidence, no science. We were giving on this show and others evidence and talking to people who are experts with masks, saying that it never. We also brought an expert saying that the cupcake wasn't effective, even though a lot of doctors and hospitals said it did save lives.
Yeah, isn't that interesting?
But we never were told how it was happening, what was happening, and how it was taking care of or hurting certain people. may have helped some people, but it was hurting people.
Correct. And it's the young men you're hearing a lot of that are literally just playing basketball and they're getting blood clots and this and that. It's not good. And it just, now, if we learned anything from any of this, the number one thing that we learned is don't believe anything at face value. Don't believe it because the CDC said it. Understand that they are a compromised government agency. Don't believe anything somebody tells you just because they told you. Do your own research. Make sure that you learn. And if you had done your own research during all of this pandemic, you wouldn't have taken it. If you really did a deep dive, you would not have ever taken it. Now, if you're somebody that just didn't know you needed to do that, which is the majority of the people, you just didn't know. Your doctor told you to do it. And of course, we used to believe our doctors up until that point.
And once again, we've had ad nauseum about Trump and COVID. Okay, when it first came out, he deferred to the experts. Okay, well, we blame Trump. Well, guess what? Then it kind of changed. And then we started to find out that Fauci was wrong.
Yeah.
That it was all made up. Like, oh my God, really? These people would do this to us? They'd actually try to unalive us. They'd actually try to do this to steal an election.
Yeah. From the beginning.
And that was the ultimate deal.
That was the goal. That's why they did it.
Excuse
and
me.
just because, and every once in a while people will say, well, Trump did warp speed. I agree. And I don't agree with him on that. But I do believe that he was damned if he did, damned if he didn't. He should not have Fauci up there every day. But if people don't know Trump, he's kind of a germaphobe. And so I don't think he is anymore, but he really loves Americans. So he really wanted to do what he thought was best. But, I really love my husband, but I don't always agree with him on everything. And I looked at Trump, I used my own brain and I thought he was wrong there. But the one thing that I can't agree with Trump is he never, ever said you had to take it. Just if you wanted to take it, he had it available for you right away. I still do think he's wrong in that, but I don't condemn him from that because he was damned if he did, damned if he didn't, because most people in their lifetime never saw anything like it.
Matthew says it took time for Trump to find out what the truth was, like the rest.
That's exactly right, man.
But in the meantime, that's why you can't be forced or pressured to do something while you're trying to find out
that's right.
what the truth actually is. When it came to, quote, masking, because there was evidence that showed that masking made you sick.
Yeah.
The masking was hurting you.
That's right.
Regardless of the 6-foot deal and all the other stupid stuff that people were forced to do.
I mean, and you look now back at it and you're like,
and the businesses that were destroyed because of it.
Yes.
The small businesses.
The only thing that came good out of it is that there was a lot of people that were forced to be around their family that they hadn't been in a while, and the relationships got better. But then on the flip side, there was a lot of children that were from abused homes that didn't get to have the escape and go to school. Instead, they were there. So, I mean, the whole thing is just a travesty. It really was, and still is. Yeah. And Susan saying, on the tagline, gain of function. I heard that again last night on the news. What does that mean? It's another made up term from Fauci.
No, it's actually the gain of function is actually research. They were doing here. Let me.
No, they were doing gain of function. He denied it, but they were.
But they were.
And gain of function is where a virus learns to adapt and keep attacking and keep attacking.
Correct.
Correct. That's gain of function.
That's gain of function.
It was going on. He presided over it. Those were American labs in other countries as well. And this is what they're grilling him on today about. Jeannie says, I never heard Trump say we had to take it. Correct.
He didn't. He never said we had to take it.
It was Biden. It was George W. Hello. It was Obama. They did a commercial together, all three of them.
Everyone but Trump said you had to take it or you were killing grandma. He did not say that. So that's where I never really got that mad at Trump about it. I really didn't, because he let it go back to the states. And look what DeSantis did. That was great. And even Parson, as much as I wish he would have been stronger on it here in Missouri, he did similar to what President Trump did by letting it go back to the states, that Parson let it go back to the jurisdiction in which you lived in. And that's why a lot of the cities are losing their people, because they don't want to be controlled and they're going to the red areas.
Well, it's what they wanted. They wanted control. I also felt it was a way to divide. I don't know.
Absolutely.
I just, sometimes you may think you know what's going to happen, but you don't know. And it was also a way to do it. And I guess we kind of knew. What a great point, Donna. Just remember, at the same time we were being forced to try to take whatever into our arms and forced to wear masks and forced not to go certain places.
Mhm.
Illegal aliens were being allowed to come into this country and
That's
not
right.
and not being tested
Mhm.
and not being forced or asked or told to take any such cupcake into their arm. Don't
That's right.
ever forget that's what Joe Biden presided over.
That's right. And they had people so scared. And then I think that's when a lot of people I knew were like, wait a minute. I have to take this in my arm. I'm going to lose my job if I don't. I'm going to have to put this mask on their face, but they're letting by the thousands. And now we know it's much more than that. People that we don't even know their name, they don't even have any immunizations whatsoever. And you saw an uptick of different kinds of eradicated diseases come back into the country. Yeah.
Wuhan currently working gain of function research with Ebola, 90% deadly, coming from the chat line and Glenn.
And you just can't make this stuff up. I mean, you can't. And if you looked at where it came from, China is how we're becoming, but China absolutely hates their citizens. Now they're in the same boat we are, you guys. Their government for a lot longer has hated their government almost from the end of time, to the point that I have 2 of their little girls from China because they would have killed them if we hadn't have taken them. So it's like, then that's similar coming over here, you guys. It's the same thing. Kill your baby, let's control you. If you think we're not on the fast track to communism and already really close to it, you need to open your eyes, because we're becoming China.
Well, just remember, if the government's trying to force you to do something, think twice.
Think twice. That's right.
You have to remember all of these situations that are going on.
Mm-hmm.
And remember that this is happening for a reason. And there's no way in hell we can trust the government.
You can't.
And you're not a conspiracy theorist for saying that. You're not. Just look
No.
around you. This is what's happening with everything that's going on right now. It's a sham and it's a shame what was done to us during COVID. And it's a sham and it's a shame what gets pushed out by national media, which is controlled by one party and or a deep state.
Mhm.
And you saw it with the Trump trial, and you see it with certain things over everything that goes on. What can happen out of this with Fauci? I don't know. Probably nothing right now.
Right.
It just comes to light to realize that he was every bit the weasel that you may or may not have known, that he is every bit the liar, and that he is a evil, little, angry, liberal man
Yeah, he is.
who was all about his reputation and hanging out with stars and celebrities and accepting awards. A true humble man would not have accepted any of these awards
Correct.
when it's a, quote, pandemic. And people were dying because of his decisions. He should have stayed out of the damn limelight, but he accepted, he poured it in, and he was paid.
Loved
money.
it.
Hell yeah, he did. Because if you look at his history, he goes back and he's connected with AIDS as well.
That's right.
Talk to the gay community about Fauci in the 80s and AIDS and what happened there.
Mhm.
That's some research and some information that'll blow your mind.
Wow. And Glenn is saying that actually the CDC literally called him yesterday for a survey. And you know what you need to tell the CDC? To go F themselves. They are the most corrupt group of people. I ran childcare centers for nearly 30 years, and I never once let them in my building. And people thought I was radical then. I'm like, what are you going to do to help me? You're going to tell me that if somebody has the sniffles, I'm going to have to close my doors? I never once let them in. And I would watch other childcare centers that would be like, oh, somebody's got, the sniffles, or they've got this or that. I need to call them and let them know. I go, you're an idiot. You're going to call them and give them, like, what's going to happen. They're going to come to your facility and they're going to ask you for children's names. You need to protect the people in your facility on all accounts. And that's what I did. And I learned a lot about how corrupt the government was by running a small business involving children. Don't ever give up information to the government, ever.
Go truck yourself, according to Glenn.
I did. Okay. I've been known to tell the CDC who try to come in my building, and DFS and all those, maybe not the quote early childhood professional words. I might have used them with them a time or two.
Well, the other issue too, Susan says, and I feel bad for people but it's not your fault. She said that Cuomo in New York had her damn near brainwashed every day at noon.
Oh, I'm sure. And she can't help it. I mean,
But
if
there's
you're
so many
glued
people,
to the
there's
TV.
sheeple. You just, oh yeah, okay.
Yeah.
All right, without any thought process.
That's
like,
right.
wait a sec, because you want to trust your government, but you can't
Correct.
anymore.
Well, you were
And
watching
hopefully
on
COVID
Fox.
showed us. Hopefully COVID showed us.
Yes, I
that
think
you
so.
can't.
People were glued to even Fox, and you would hear Cuomo and you thought, well, maybe he is good. Maybe he's not. Maybe he is good. That's what I heard my friends doing. They're like, you're so hard on them. You think that this is all a ruse. Why? And I'm like, you guys, you're being played. And so many people great conservatives who are still great conservatives were glued to Fox at noon every day.
But just remember, I mean, Fauci's accused of lying under oath. I mean,
Yeah.
there's evidence that he did, and he's also made up. I mean, he admitted that he made up COVID restrictions.
He made it up.
Despite not having scientific evidence to do so.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm still waiting.
I mean, it's like Pam is saying, it was the biggest
Hollywood
fear-mongering.
elites, nobody's above the law.
Uh-huh.
Your rights don't mean anything if you're infringing. Remember, if you're infringing on other people's health and safety, screw your rights, George Clooney, that asshole.
Yeah.
Dumbass, liberal, mean ass.
Oh.
Oh, but I give money to poor people. F you, George.
Mhm.
You were helping kill others.
That's right. That was all
to make yourself
virtue
feel
signaling.
good. Epstein list.
That's right. Epstein list.
I want to make sure. Was he on the Epstein list? I can't. I thought.
You know
he was.
what? When I've seen two different sources about that. Some say he was, but sometimes you can be guilty by association because he was with these people all the time. So I don't know if he was on the list, but he's been there. So yeah, but it's so true. It's the virtue signaling that happened during that period of time. And again, it was all the elites again. It was those people that thought, you know what? I am an elite, so I don't have to wear a mask and I can go wherever I want to and I can go whatever restaurants. But you peons out there, you need to put your mask on. You need to put the stuff in your arm. You need to stay in your house, keep your kids home from school because the air that you breathe is contaminating mine. That's what they were doing.
This can't ever happen again. Ever. It can't happen again. You can't trust the government with much, especially under the current leadership. Especially when you had Joe Biden trying to force this down your throat, you can't trust it.
Yes.
You can't trust anybody when it came to this whole situation. But once again, keep in mind, Donald Trump's trial ends, Hunter Biden's begins, and then what is the same day, as I say, all of this stuff is structured against us. We're all being played.
That's right.
Hunter Biden goes to trial right after Donald Trump, first day today. And then what do? They schedule Fauci for the same day.
That's right.
What do you think is going to, and that's fine. This Fauci stuff needs attention. But what do you think?
It's all on the same day. You know that's planned.
Hell yes.
To distract us from everything else. They're doing it on the same day. So we can't figure out what both of them are. If you ever thought, come on, Trump ends on Friday. These two end on Monday. That was a conservative thing in their eyes with Trump, and now these are liberal things, and we're going to distract. Everything's a distraction, and it's still, we cannot forget that we have an election coming up in November. That they want us to just think terrible things about Trump, and they want to hide the fact of what Biden and Fauci were doing because you can connect them with the liberals.
Chris says, I'm a Gen X son of a 9-year Vietnam vet. I was raised to not trust the government. I confirmed it when I got to see the Middle East on Uncle Sam's dime. I will never completely trust the government, especially the left. There's nothing wrong with not trusting the government.
Yeah.
There's nothing. I mean, your parents teach kids, hey, do your due diligence on anything and everything. Do your due diligence before buying something. Do your due diligence.
That's right.
Before making whatever big decision you have to. You don't just trust the government to go do something.
Well, it took the curtain off of our medical community too, that many people trusted your doctors like they were some sort of God. That pulled the curtain all the way back to see and to remind us it is practicing medicine. These people are also bought and paid for by big pharma and by whatever, big medical corporation that they're working for in the hospital that they're working with. So that a lot of people started trying to look for alternative medication during that period of time, or alternative means, I should say, to medication, because people started not trusting the medical community at all.
Glenn brings up a great point. Trust but verify, trust but verify, trust but verify. Donna says, question everything.
You have to question everything. And I verify before I trust. I do the opposite. I'm sure that's what Glenn is meaning. Before I trust anyone, I now verify what they're saying. But that doesn't mean that if you were wrong before, because everybody's wrong every now and again, that they come back and say, you know what? They don't even have to say you were right and I was wrong. Just say, I was hoodwinked during that period of time. Let's move on from here. And then you move on, because the whole big thing, Vic, you said that this was another thing along with BLM, Antifa, right, left, whatever. This was another means to divide, because the way they take our country down is divided. United we stand, divided we fall. And this is what this is really all about, is making this country fall. And they're going to do whatever they can, whether it's Trump, whether it's, the C, whether it's black, white, liberal, Democrat, whatever. They want us to be divided. And they're even divided
of course they do.
within our
Of
own
course.
political party. We got to stop that. We really do.
This is cancelthisshow.com. Vic Faust, Lizzie Sparks, Projo in the house, here Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. Central, all the time on our website, cancelthisshow.com. We appreciate your support. You can donate to it, whatever we do. Anything helps us. And the messages that we're trying to get out and supporting Donald Trump, especially supporting causes and supporting truth and information that doesn't get out in the mainstream media. That's why we're here. That's what we do, Paul says, or Lizzie can self-correct in real time. Much more respectful.
Very true. Very true.
The entire administration is crap now. All of it. Everything from the government. And of course, then we get people ripping, of course, what happened with the Trump trial and all of the farce that was and happening there. The Donald Trump situation and COVID, you just can't pin stuff on him with that.
No.
This is a Fauci deal. He was in bed with the liberal left. The liberal left, and it became a right versus left deal.
Yes,
it became a blue versus red deal. It did. And it is especially there today. It is freedom versus no freedom. But one thing's for sure, I don't see all these liberals lining up to protect Dr. Fauci today.
No, they're not. They're quiet, aren't they? They're pretty doggone quiet, because they know how their life was overturned too. Some of these left moms are now screaming about the masks issue. And so they're not going to protect him, but you know what? They're not calling him out that he was bad either. Have you noticed that? They're not saying he was bad.
Yeah. Somebody says, hey, by the way, the Wash U doctor that you had on your old show, on the radio show, was pretty convincing to take the jab. I think he practiced in Washington, Missouri. Maybe not a Wash U doctor, maybe Mercy. I'm trying to remember too. I can't. But he certainly had his opinion. But we also had another cardiovascular from Oklahoma City who said, don't let your kids take it. He's like, there's too many questions. But they were trying to muzzle doctors at hospitals, and many times they're, we just want to stay away and collect our checks. As I was told, don't question anything, Vic. Don't question. If you question, that's a problem. You won't get paid. Just collect your check and pick your battles and be happy. But this all comes up because literally Fauci has admitted that he made up social distancing and he made up masking with zero evidence, zero scientific evidence.
Yeah.
Zero.
He just made it up.
And that pisses me the freak off that he did it. And he should be called out for it. Every award, every cover that he had, any payment he was given should be rescinded. He should give the money back. And there are those who want to go further and convict him.
Yeah.
Donald Trump said if he's president, he would definitely have him investigated at bare minimum.
And I know I'm not alone on this, but I think we ought to bring back public hangings for some of these people.
Oh my God.
Gosh, yeah. I think you'd have a lot of people, Joe. I think a lot of people, if there was a public hanging of Fauci, I think you'd see a lot of people there, because there's a lot of people that suffered not only deaths of loved ones, but just their businesses and all of that. I think you'd have a lot of people watching it.
I mean, we got to make people think before they start doing evil things. I'm just
correct.
Just saying.
Correct. Yeah, because right now our country is just so busy, making up lies about a president that did nothing but try to help our country. He loves the people, and that's who they want to hang, and they want to let Fauci slide. That should tell you everything you need to know about our country.
Robert says public hangings needed. Yes. Projo, I'll provide the rope. Pay-per-view from Gary. Okay, there you go.
Heather says she agrees with you too. A lot.
Yeah, you guys have gone down that road. That's for sure. A couple other things we wanted to get to, just because I want to. Caitlin Clark over the weekend, and I don't want to hear about any more bullshit with white privilege, anything of that nature.
Amen.
Stop talking color. Caitlin Clark, look at this video. She was fouled, and there's a collage of all these black women forcefully, fouling her. One foul would not last in the NBA. Well, on Saturday, she was hit very hard by this woman who called her a bitch, and you can read her mouth as she knocked Caitlin Clark over. We'll show you the video right now.
And Clark. That's clear, which
And
was
Beckett,
called. The
works
question
with,
is, will they call it
outkick the coverage.
unnecessary?
Wow.
Kennedy Carter.
But he'd never even seen this in a men's game
and
ever.
Clark.
The WNBA didn't do shit about this.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't do anything. Now, this morning they upgraded her foul to a flagrant, so it's a flagrant, but she'll get tagged with a flagrant, but no fines.
Yeah,
Nothing.
that's unbelievable. And that
If a white woman did this to a black woman, there'd be a foul, and there'd be all kinds of stuff about it.
there would be.
And then you had dumbass people on The View saying that Caitlin Clark got all kinds of privilege because she was white.
Yeah.
And this is about the 6th foul that she has gotten crushed by. And look, where are her black teammates?
Yeah.
And I'm calling color on this.
Yeah. This is a color thing. These are people that are literally thinking that they want everything taken away from Caitlin because she's white, and they should be thanking her.
Charles Barkley is saying they need to stop being petty.
Yeah.
Because these black women are getting things they've never gotten before because of Caitlin
That's
Clark's
exactly right.
ability.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly right. She's brought more to the game that is actually enhancing all of the quote privileges for everyone, white or black. But this is where our schools and this Common Core and this DEI BS that is in all of our corporations and our schooling and definitely in our colleges is making people that are black or someone that doesn't get somebody that white earned or whatever. Now the white people are getting abused. It's just a fact. They are. And so this needs to be called out. We didn't like racism towards black people. Now the racism towards white people isn't any more cute, people. It really isn't. It's just bizarre, and it's being allowed. It's being allowed because
Well, that
she's
was
white.
look at then Angel Reese, who followed Caitlin Clark around. You're seeing Angel Reese's true colors.
Mhm.
She's a thug.
She is a thug.
She's a street thug. She's nothing better. Now, she could get better, but she's a street thug.
Mhm.
She is a nasty person inside and out.
Yep.
She has shown herself to be a nasty person inside and out. Joe, play the video, please. Angel Reese was fined $1,000 because she didn't go to the post-game press conference after this. But look at Angel Reese smiling. That's Angel Reese, the tall woman number. Look at her smiling after that teammate just did that to Caitlin Clark.
Uh-huh.
All you need to know about Angel Reese and her street thug mentality.
Mm-hmm.
She's the same woman that followed Caitlin Clark around a court 2 years ago when they won the national championship, pointing at her finger. Caitlin just kept walking, yet the national media isn't calling her out.
No.
ESPN, the liberal left sports network, isn't calling her out. Look at Angel celebrating what just happened to Caitlin Clark. She doesn't deserve one endorsement deal anywhere in America.
And I hope the advertisers are seeing that and just completely stay away from them, because something has to happen, because Caitlin is great. And they're just so, you know what this comes down to? I'm just going to call it, not only is it the DEI stuff I was talking before, this is literally women jealousy bullshit combined with DEI. And that's a toxic thing.
It's brutal.
It's
What happened?
brutal.
What happened?
Brutal.
And the other fouls that had been happening to Caitlin Clark have been absolutely brutal as well. And the WNBA has just sat back and done nothing. It's a league that promotes all the DEI.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about black culture, not everybody's culture, black culture, gay and trans, bisexual, all this for little girls.
Mhm.
It's not about basketball. They're getting
Yeah.
all these social damn issues. It should be about basketball. Yet throughout all of this, Caitlin Clark has not bitched or complained once.
No, she is a
Her
class
coach is
act.
doing everything she can,
Mhm.
but her coach is white.
Yeah. So what?
And
can
they're
she
in
do about it?
Indiana, which is a red state.
That's right.
Where are her teammates?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't want to hear any more bullshit about white privilege. We all know it's a bunch of it's a sham.
Yeah.
It's another thing that's put out there to divide white and black that should be
Mm-hmm.
getting along together because we can. And it all started with Obama. It did. Let's not be fake about it. Let's call it out. In 2013, you started to hear more about quote DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion, diversity, equity, inclusion. Matthew says, I doubt the WNBA will do anything at all no matter how much this continues.
I agree with Matthew. They're not.
Stadiums are now
much.
being sold out. More people are going to watch because of Caitlin Clark.
That's right.
They're flying private now. They used to have to fly public.
Mm-hmm.
It's because of the money that Caitlin Clark has brought in. Yet then they allow their thugs, their street thugs, which is exactly what Angel Reese and her team celebrating and laughing at a dirty foul.
Yeah, that's
Caitlin Clark just boom, hip checks her.
And the coach, of course, isn't going to say anything, but the coach should have. And, you know, in the olden days, it would have been the coach would have said, you're benched. I don't care how great you are. Get your ass on the bench and knock the F off. But today, everybody's so afraid to say anything to Black people because, oh my gosh, that's just going to be awful. I mean, it's brutal. And that is something for years. I know that my husband and I have fought against racism. Now it's what I call reverse racism, where now they're going after white people. And I will look white people in the eyes and say, you know what? You can't be mean to my Black kids, my Asian kids, whatever, but I will not tolerate you being mean to my white kids either. So I will come after anybody that's doing that.
And for those who don't know, Lizzie has Asian kids, Black kids, and white kids.
I do. I have them all. And so
her daughters.
Yes. And so I have them all. And so, and my son was the one that had to take the brunt of this when he was older, because he's now 32. And so there was, you know, some racial comments we made since, you know, by white people back in the day, because I chose to have such a diverse family. Now we don't see any of that. We don't see anybody saying anything bad at all.
What shouldn't be.
At all. But now they're going after our white kids. Well, you know what? I'm going to call that out too. Do not do that to the white kids either. I'll fight you just as hard on that, because it's wrong. God made us whatever color. We can't control the color of our skin anyway. No matter who our mom or dad slept with that made us whatever color that we are, that's the way God intended it to be. And you have no say on that. You have no say on the color of your skin. So why should someone else belittle you because of the color of your skin? And that's now happening to white people. White people are now being so discriminated against, and we need to call that out. It's ridiculous what's happening to Caitlin, but wow, what a class act she is, because you know what? She's not even reacting to it. And hopefully she knows what thugs they are. And she's not even going to give them the time of day, because they're still going to be thugs. When they're done playing basketball, Caitlin is going to be a wonderful human, and they're still going to be thugs.
Yeah.
Period.
And she's not going to. Angel Reese isn't going to change.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
She was raised as a monster thug.
That's right.
And that's exactly who she is. And I pray she doesn't have kids, because if she has kids, she'll probably raise monster thugs.
That's right. Well. That's right.
Hate white people, because all she's showing is she hates white people, and she's a jealous,
yes,
evil liberal lady.
That's right. That's right. And the white people need to stand up with that, because that's part of the problem, that white people are being saying that they have white guilt. You should have white guilt because of your white privilege. No, you shouldn't, because, and Christians were like falling into that. Then you're doubting God. If you were born as a white person and you now have white guilt, you're questioning God. So just stop doing that. I mean, it's just so unbecoming. I mean, it really is.
It is, but I wanted to bring attention to it because of what's happening. It's wrong. And I just admire Caitlin Clark for being able to just go out and continue to play despite how she's being treated on a daily basis.
Mm-hmm.
Now we wanted to end on some happier notes today. I love this.
This was great.
The Pride Parade. We got 2 videos. Joe, I sent you one during the show. The first one shows, June is Gay Pride Month. That's what our country tells us. So, it's Gay Pride Month for those who want to celebrate. There was a Gay Pride Parade in Philadelphia. Well, the pro-Palestinians, pro-Hamas, pro-Hezbollah people showed up to stop and really confuse the gay crowd. I mean, during the parade, trans, whatever. I don't know.
This is hysterical.
But here's the video.
You can't make this shit up.
I know. What you're seeing on this video, and if you can't, what's going on is it just is priceless. You see gay pride people on one side, you see pro-Palestinians on the other, and then you see some people in the middle going, what the F am I supposed to do? Which side am I supposed to be on? It's like, it's just like, oh my gosh. 1 month I'm with you on the gay pride, and then the next month I'm with you on the pro-Palestinian. Hell, I don't know who I am anymore. This is what some of these people look like. It's hysterical.
Yeah, they're trying to jump, and then the woman's trying to push them out as they're trying to move.
Yeah, this is great.
I mean, what the hell?
Yeah. Well, to me, this
Robert says, "What an American shit show."
that really
It
is. Yes, it is.
No wonder everybody's laughing at us.
That's right. This video in itself is what people in other countries think Americans are. When
It is.
and it's embarrassing because we once were not like that at all. And you see our cities filled. Look at this guy, and he's like got this weird looking.
Yeah, they're all trying to
leather-looking
figure out
stuff.
what they're doing.
And they're like, okay, am I gay today or am I pro-Palestinian today? Because today I can't be both. So which side do I stand on? And it's just, it's like, oh my gosh. And I would like to have a bullhorn and go, you're all a bunch of dumbasses. You just look stupid. You know how stupid you look? You look dumb.
Man.
But those two in the middle going, and with the mask on, with the leather mask.
Hey, but then things got worse.
Mm-hmm.
Look what happened later on in the day too. Fighting, yelling, pushing, assaulting each other. This was at the parade in Philadelphia. Video of a fight between the pro-Palestinian crowd, and it's interesting because they're all African American black community.
Yes.
Gay versus pro-Palestinians fighting each other.
Yeah.
I mean,
It's like
it's hello. What?
And it makes they look like they really do. They look like circus clowns are just uneducated animals. And it's like, this is what people in other countries see us like that. And look at them. You got some of the people carrying a black little flag or the LGBTQ flag. Somebody else has a BLM flag. And then somebody else has a pro-Palestinian flag. It's like, oh, and they're fighting each other.
Scott Fawn from the Missouri Times tweeted the other morning on X. He's like, can somebody tell me when Gay Pride Month in Palestine is?
Yeah. Yeah. That was good. That was good. It's like, huh?
No, there isn't one there. Sorry.
Yeah.
Susan says black ones fighting the gay ones. This is crazy fun.
It is. It is crazy
Heather
fun to
says
watch
it's
it.
Philadelphia.
Uh-huh.
They do this during football season too.
Heather's right about that. They do. They're an
Chris
angry
says, I
lot.
thought that was pretty damn funny. The sign that said "No Pride." It just lost it here for a second. I had to go back up.
Yeah, it says
"No Pride in Genocide" flag.
Uh-huh. The moron
That
would be.
moron would be dangling from a rooftop over there.
That's right.
There's some other things that were flown that day.
Oh yeah, there you go. Kill the hostages now.
They're not coming home.
Wait a minute, that was from Philadelphia's parade?
I believe so, yeah.
Oh man. Gary says Muslims just love gays.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they really do. I mean, it's like, and you want to take somebody aside that's gay and pro-Palestinian all at the same time and go, honey, do you know what an oxymoron that is? Has anyone ever explained that to you? And I would love to hear their answer because nobody will talk to me about that.
And
It's like, do you understand what you're saying? I mean, I guess they don't. And it just is, I mean, when you see that, it's like, that is crazy town.
all right.
Crazy town.
Let's go ahead and get to the end of here. We wanted to show you Donald Trump from the other night at UFC. End on a good note. He had one of the loudest, most explosive entrances for a person that you could imagine. Just check out Donald. We can talk over it a little bit too as Joe plays it when it comes to the UFC the other night. Just play. I mean, this was a viewer. We always try to be careful, but this is the UFC. Love the UFC. We promote the UFC. What they have done with that organization. Look at the crowd. That was when Donald Trump was walking in.
Love this.
Donald Trump walking in. You see him on the big board, greeting everybody as he's going in.
This is good stuff.
This is cool factor stuff right
Yeah, it
there.
is.
The stuff that'll just blow your mind and make you feel damn good. So you see Donald Trump, and then our next video. Did we have another video from Trump walking in, or do we have the fighter?
Yeah, that one's good too. I think we've got 3 videos.
We got the fighter
already.
interview.
I want to see the fighter in the cage.
Oh, okay.
I want to show you
Yeah,
what
that's
happened because
good.
we're running short on time and we have a taping that we have to get to too. All right. So here's look at this one. Okay. I wanted to show you this from the UFC. Fighter wins his fight. And when he wins the fight, he races over to Donald Trump. This is good stuff here. He wins by submission. This is the African-American black fighter right there. He wins. And after he wins, watch what he does. He literally jumps over.
You saw when it snapped.
Yeah. I mean, it's limp by his side, even though he's protesting. He's not even picking the arm.
Trump gets right up.
How heartwarming is that? One of the shake Donald Trump's hand. Love the UFC. This UFC, they're awesome.
Kevin Holland sharing a moment
Love
with Donald Trump and Dana White.
Beautiful.
So somebody posted that video that we're reposting. And then in the press conference afterwards, Sean Strickland also won. And after he won and he was in the ring, he said, Donald Trump, I've got your back. We need to support you. I'm going to be donating money to you. What they're doing to you is wrong. And then then he tries to have some fun here, joking about the convicted felon thing. But listen to Sean Strickland talk.
But that said, Trump is here, man. Come on now. We had a convicted felon. Let's put on a fucking show for this man.
Are you one as well? Are you a convicted felon?
No, I pled to 2 misdemeanors, sir.
Oh, okay.
I could still own a gun and vote and apparently run for president.
Was it cool to perform in front of Trump?
Oh, yeah, dude. Trump is a fucking man, you guys. I think we're all Trumpsters here besides the fucking Canadian. Yeah, no, for sure. As long as not fucking Trudeau. Yeah, no, man, dude, Trump is the fucking man. You guys ever meet Trump? You talk to him? You know, like I thought I wouldn't like the guy, you know? I mean, he hooks up with models all the time, you know, he has a lot of money, like I'm a little jealous, but no, you meet him and he's actually a solid fucking guy. He asks me how my woman's doing, like he gets to know you. Yeah, he's a good fucking dude, man. Good fucking dude.
Love Sean Strickland,
This
the
is
Australian.
great stuff.
Yeah, this is why the UFC is gold.
I love that he said Trump is a man, because that is what we're missing in this society today is we're making, not we, but people are making our boys these days, these sissies that just can't cope and stay in their mama's basement and they're just online chatting and they can't hold jobs and so on and so forth. Donald Trump brings men and being a man a great thing back to America.
It really does.
We need great men. I mean, there's nothing better than a great man. A strong woman wants to be around strong men. So the feminists, sit your butts down.
Yeah, couldn't be any more excited for him. We wanted to end on a more of a positive note. That's what we're doing, ending on a positive note from that standpoint. We're here Monday through Friday, 8 to 10 a.m. Central, all the time on our website, cancelthisshow.com. We'll go out on the show today with another video of just Donald Trump and UFC and everything else that Donald Trump has been about. A video that was put together honoring Donald Trump, his appearance, and all the appearances at UFC.
Yeah, and I've set up and torn out this stage with my own 2 hands. We've traveled this land, packed tight in minivans, and all this for the fans, girls, money, and fame. I played their game and had to scream my name. I will show no shame. I live and die for this, and if I come off soft, fix you on this.
Are you scared?
I'm an American badass. Watch me kick. 45 in the building to set the stage from Miami, Florida. What an atmosphere. American badass. Singer in black, so throw a finger in the air. Let me see where you're at. Say, hey.
Greatest president in the history of the world, sitting right there. I love that guy. And let's take that. Let's go grab that motherfucker out of power and replace him. Let's go Brandon!
Well, and there you have it.
And that does it for our show, people. Let's go, Brandon, USA. Thanks for watching. Cancel This. We'll be back tomorrow at 8 a.m. Thanks for any support, donations, ideas for sponsorship. We just continue to get stronger and bigger every day. Thanks to you guys. For Pro Joe and Lizzie, I'm Vic. Have an awesome day.